Hello everyone, what is happening? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We have a late night transfer update for you. Excuse me, just when we thought we weren't going to go live again. We was live at 7 o'clock, but as always, it's always inconvenient timing with Manchester United. And David Ornstein's dropped an absolute bomb in relation to the midfield. We're going to just talk about Ugarte. We're going to talk about potential replacements and what effect it could have on us. Going into this season. But I'll read out the article for you, Sam, and as always, you know the crack. I will get your reaction. So exclusive from David Ornstein. This. Man United switch midfielder search away from Manuel Ugarte and onto other options. United don't intend to meet €60 million fee, and they will only revisit this if PSG drop the price. No progress yet. Talks cooled, and they are exploring other top targets for the right deal. Is this the right decision, Sam?
You sort of split in two minds, aren't you, really? Obviously, we were thinking about him as a target. He seems to fit the bill as a perfect sort of number 6. He does what you want him to do. He breaks up plays, aggressive, not injury prone. He's happy to sit and do that dog work and get the ball to the sort of players who are better on the ball with the passing, etc. Seemed like he ticked all the boxes, and it seemed like only a matter of time. There was like rumours of a loan deal, which could be great for us, which means we get another midfielder in. Obviously, PSG are not interested in negotiating. They want stupid money for him, which I think, obviously, if you're a PSG fan, that's what you want your club to do. But as a United fan, we're not going to be that club anymore who's going to pay over the odds and pay what clubs are asking for when it's ridiculous. And I'm quite happy that we've took a stand and gone, nah, we're not paying it. And we're going to look at other options. Like we heard the rumours about Fofana, about Zubimendi, Rabiot, etc. It looks like we've got eggs in other baskets, and it looks like, right, cool. You don't want to play ball, you don't want to negotiate. We'll go look at somewhere else, which is something we've been crying out for United to do for years and years and years. Like walk away from deals when they're asking for stupid money. But there's going to be people online going, "You should have just paid the money. You should have just paid the money," and the cycle just continues. Then we have to walk away at some point during deals and suffer a little bit of short-term pain to draw a line in the sand for clubs in the future. Because this is going to go on for window after window if you keep overpaying the odds. So I'm quite happy that we've gone, nah, we're not paying it, lads. We're going to move on and then leave it with them. If they want to get rid and they want to like FFP this João Neves deal, they're going to have to come back to the table.
I agree. It is kind of short-term pain for long-term game. This was a player you really wanted, though, wasn't it? Yep. Like, I remember discussing it yesterday. You was very adamant on getting him. Was he the perfect... For you specifically, was he the perfect option? In which case, now if we do go get an ulterior one, which we're going to dive in on the individuals in a moment, does that then downgrade? Is that in your head a downgrade?
I think he was the best option that we had available. Like there was other options I really, really like. Like I've talked about Martin Hjumland a number of times on this channel. I think he would be my favourite of all the things, but again, he's more expensive than Manuel Ugarte, so I think that's a deal that can't be done, unfortunately, unless Sporting Lisbon want to drop a price. So, yeah, I'm hoping our scouting department has other options. I'm hoping they've got clubs. I'm hoping they've got people in their eye, or like young players, or people like that. I'm hoping there's options there that they can go and explore, because I think we've learned our lessons from previous regimes where we've got one target and we're going to go for them. And if we don't get them, we've got no other plan other than panic buying the last week of the window. We've still got 4 weeks of the window left. Got time. We've got things. So, yeah, let's not panic yet. But it's disappointing. It is disappointing because I would have liked him very much at Manchester United. But I'm hoping we've got other targets. And there's never just... Much when a great player leaves the club, if we don't manage to buy a great player, there's always another option. There's always somebody else. We've just got to be patient and look.
We are going to speak about other options, individuals, because I'm sure there's a lot of people eager to hear what are the targets we've got and who we might go for and the reasons for that. And there's just a little bit extra on the Ornstein thing, saying the view at Manchester United is that they are only willing to pay what they deem to be the correct fee for each transfer target, and negotiations will not be allowed to drag on until the end of the market. And again, we don't want another situation, do we, where you've got Casemiro, kind of reactionary signing, or you've got Antony as well, where you're struggling to get players, and the the gap where you start to become desperate is so close because the window shuts and you officially can't get any player at all. So you're almost scrambling, aren't you, saying like, oh, just get anyone, get Anthony, bring him in. We've seen the long-term effects of that, and we've also seen the long-term effects of Casemiro, ironically, which is why we're bringing in the fucking midfielder, or trying to bring a midfielder in now.
Ironically enough, what's the reason we bought Casemiro? What's the reason?
No, De Jong, wasn't it?
Because we chased and chased De Jong until it was far too late, and we didn't give up when we got all the signs where he doesn't want to come, and you're not going to get him, and you should have moved on after a couple of weeks, which is exactly what we've done with Ugarte. We've chased him for a couple of weeks. It's not going to happen. PSG are not willing to deal, and you walk away. If this is the old regime, we still be talking about Ugarte at 31st of August. I guarantee it. We'd still be here trying to do this deal, and then end up paying whatever it is they're asking for. We'd end up paying it. So yeah. I'm glad that we walked away, but there'll be a lot of people annoyed, a lot of people upset, which I get. But yeah, short-term pain, long-term gain. That's kind of why you got to look at it.
I would love to hear everyone's opinions. I'm going to get into comments very, very shortly. But Ugarte, are you happy? Do you think this is a good stance from Ineos to turn around and say, do you know what? We're not fucking paying that. We are not being held over a barrel, especially when you've just bought your primary target you wanted in João Neves for a similar price. No way are we paying that, because we know he's going to be a player now. He's either going to get any game time. If Vitinha's there, you got Fabian Ruiz, you got João Neves. Like, he's not going to get any minutes. So I imagine Ugarte himself, who we've not even discussed like personally, will be pretty pissed off, because he was excited about the project to United. He's, sometimes in these situations, players can kick up a bit of a fuss. So maybe you might see that. Maybe his agent might cause a bit of a ruckus, saying, you know what, fuck, you've seen that with players before. So I'm curious to know. I wouldn't say it's absolutely over.
No.
But I could see it potentially coming back on the table, but PSG have to lower the demands.
I like how we've left it in their court. We've basically gone, look, we ain't paying your money, lads. If you want to come back to the table and do a negotiation, like, phone us, but we're going to move on. We've not gone, we never want to buy him ever. We're not doing this deal ever again. And we've just literally gone, look, it's in your hands, lads. You do what you want to do, and we're going to go over here and execute business. Which I like that's how it should be. You need to put yourself in a strong position, in a position where you're not going to be, like you said, held over a barrel. And United have been that club for far too long. And I'm tired of it. I'm fucking tired of it.
Yeah, agreed. McMillan's saying, get Fofana in, send maybe Pellistri or Hannibal to Monaco, and get maybe Cardozo and Fofana for a combined 50 million euros while sending Pellistri and Hannibal either way. In an ideal world, that'd be great, but those kind of deals are one deal is difficult to do on its own, let alone when you include two other players. So, again, I'd love to do deals like that because it helps us removing players as well, but then you have to get Pellistri to agree, and you have to get Hannibal and then their agents to agree, and then, nightmare.
Hannibal is not exactly in a good light after his trip at Sevilla, is he? Exactly. Let's be honest. So who the fuck is going to go, yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah. T2D has also said PSG are asking for crazy money given the situation. We can't keep having our pants pulled down. Seems like everyone's in unison at least. Andy Williams, the fact nobody really knows their second choice is worrying. I'm sure they have backup plans. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute, so don't worry about that. Dan saying, hi lads, can't believe how it was happened, but hopefully we can get someone else by Ineos not playing games with United tax. Tim99 said, I'm confident there are other good options. Okay, let's discuss the options then, Sam. Zubimendi is a player that we've been linked with. Real Sociedad midfielder. Replaced Rodri in the Euros. Looked really, really good. He's been good for Sociedad for a long time. Good, solid technician. More of a dictator, can control the game. Is great on the ball, but not your kind of guy who's going to put in the mileage like Ugarte does. Not a destroyer. Yeah, correct. But the one thing I read about Zubimendi is his release clause is close to what PSG want for Ugarte. Yeah. So that also looks like a difficult deal to do as well. But would he be someone you consider?
Yeah, he's a great player. I really liked. I think Aaron mentioned him. Was it last season? He really liked what he saw. He was really enjoying. Shout out to Aaron for sort of mentioning this guy and putting him on my radar. But yeah, I like him. He doesn't compare. When I make this comparison, I'm not saying he plays like him, but he reminds me of a Michael Carrick type signing. He dictates play. He's that metronome. He keeps things ticking over, and he picks out passes from deep, and he plays, and he makes stuff happen. He doesn't play like Michael Carrick, so I don't want people to take the comparison that way. But that's his kind of mentality and how he works. Yeah. He's not an Ugarte who's going to go around aggressively, sort of tackling, get the ball, get repossession, making a turnover happen and passing it out to better players in possession like a Kobe Manu or Bruno. He's really good in possession. He's really good with passes. He's really good and able to take the ball and go with it. And I like that. But it would mean, I think, changing our style slightly. We're going to have to go really high possession, like extremely high possession, if you want somebody like Zubimendi to work in your team. Zubimendi's not going to work in a counter-attack team, I don't think, if you're going to give up possession quite a lot of times. So I think he's key if you're going to play a possession-based system. Yeah, I like him a lot, but like I said, the price is high, similar to Ugarte. Can they negotiate that? Are Real Sociedad in financial issues? I know a lot of Spanish teams are. A lot of Spanish teams having to sell, like teams like Valencia, teams like Monaco. They all need to sell because of like financial constraints. Even Barcelona, like we've been through that before. The stuff that's going on. So maybe we can do a deal there. Maybe they're more open to doing a deal. I know we've had relationship with them before. They were interested in Donny, weren't they? They were trying to buy Donny, I think, or loan him, I believe, last season. So maybe we've got contacts there. So yeah, that could be an interesting deal. I like it, but he's a very different type of player. It's a very sort of different sort of way of going, I think, for the midfield.
Yeah, I was just reading something actually that his coach put about him, about Zubimendi. He says Martin has the mark of Zubieta. He's a player all coaches would want. He's generous. He always thinks more about his teammates than himself. He has that ability to generate play, to make those around him better, always offering solutions to improve the move. He understands what the next step is before the ball gets to him. He has that ability to organise that axis. I loved working with him. So, an intelligent player. It is interesting because I do think you would have to switch up tactically in the way you're going to approach, like you've alluded to there. I do like him as a player from bits that I've seen. Very solid. Does remind me a little bit like a Rodri. It was basically a like-for-like placement. But yeah, I'd be interested to see, why was he not then the first choice target? That's the question. Maybe it is because of them kind of reasons.
Maybe it's because, like you said, the tactical side, but maybe it's also they thought they could do a money deal with Ugarte and get it cheaper when they looked to Zubimendi and as a release clause. They were like, maybe we can make a better deal for sort of Ugarte rather than trying to buy out Zubimendi's release clause.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts and feelings on Zubimendi, if that is a player that you would personally go for. Anyone who's watching in the chat, there is another option in Youseff Fofana, Sam. Apparently, he's agreed personal terms with AC Milan, but AC Milan apparently only want to pay 15. Now, we've kind of seen this rodeo before with Xerxes, of course, if he was only willing to pay a certain amount and they didn't want to pay the agent kind of fees. And then United was like, we'll fucking pay it, no worries, we'll get that. So Youseff Fofana is one. Potentially, that is a deal that we could hijack. And I even said on the show the other day when we was both on it, I think he's more of a suitable player for that role. So if he was to go for that, again, where would he be on your priorities?
It's a good deal to do. What's the release cost? 25, I believe.
Yeah, so I saw Monaco were asking for 30 million euros. Right. That's what he wants. So if Milan are offering 15,
27, pounds,
yeah,
27
something like that.
Yeah, it's good money, good price. He's more of a hybrid, isn't he? Like, he's not quite a 6, he's not quite an 8. He's somewhere in between the two. Like, he could play both roles equally well. Bit more aggressive than Zubimendi, less sort of silky in terms of the way he passes and plays the ball, but equally a very, very good midfielder. Decent price. How old is he? 23? 22?
I think he's relatively young. I'll double check
24?
that for you now. Yeah.
So he fits the age profile. He'd be
23.
23, yeah. So I think he'd be open to coming here. Like, I think he'd fit slot straight into the team. And then if you're getting him for 25, 27 million, that could leave you open to getting another midfielder in terms of like an Amrabat or a Rabiot. It frees up a bit more funds, because if you're going to drop 40 odd million on Ugarte, that doesn't leave a lot. Whereas if you're dropping 25, 27, that's 15 million there to go get Amrabat for like 13 million, or pay Rabiot's wages for a couple of years. Like, it leaves you a bit more freer to get a second one in, because I think we need two. I don't think one's going to cut it. I think we definitely need two midfielders.
Yeah, he is a hybrid. I know people are putting in the chat that he's He is a box-to-box midfielder, but if you look how he sets up in Monaco, he does deal with the defensive duties more so than his partner. And the guy's got physical strength. He's got stamina, can cover blades of grass. He's not too bad on the ball either, and he can press opponents really well, which is obviously Ten Hag kind of demands that in the way we've been setting up in pre-season. So I don't think it'd be a bad option. I think he'd suit more. I think he'd be okay in that. I wouldn't say he'd be kind of the pin-up target not pin-up striker, but the pin-up target that you would put in there as your main. But with what we're dealing with at the minute, I don't know. It's either Zubimendi or Fofana. I mean, Ben Jacobs mentioned a couple of others. He said Wolves, João Gomez, and Fluminense, Andre are two midfielders United still appreciate, but Gomez is valued by Wolves at £60 million. So
I mean, if we go to Wolves, he's valued at 60. If we go to Wolves, it's going to be 80, isn't it? Like,
yeah. So
let's be honest.
It's difficult. It's difficult. Right. Let's go back to the comments. Will Mazraoui take his medical on Tuesday? That deal will probably be wrapped up this week, but you can't predict his medical because it's not even been penciled in yet, so impossible to guess. TTM says, I think the Wan-Bissaka deal is blocking Mazraoui, and if he chooses to stay, we're in a sticky spot. It does have a little bit of a feeling like it started off really well, didn't it, the transfers, and now we're going through a bit of a rocky patch, Sam.
Teams are going to try to test us now, aren't they? Like you said, it's getting towards the end of the window, and teams need to make money. Like, we know Bayern need to buy, but they need to sell to buy. So they're trying to maximize that money as much as possible. So they're testing United right now, going, this is how much we want for both of them. You want them, you're going to have to do this. And obviously the story that came out about us trying to keep the Euro injury secret because we thought it would hurt our negotiations with Bayern for De Ligt. So they know that as well. So yeah, they're testing us. And obviously PSG are doing the same. They're like, look, you want this player, you're going to have to pay this. But Ineos are not playing their game. Ineos have decided, no, we're going to walk away and find somebody else. And I think one of the parts of the article is that they're only willing to pay what they deem to be a correct fee for each target, and negotiations will not be allowed to drag on to the end of the window, which is great.
So moving swiftly.
We could well end up with no midfielder because we don't want to overpay the odds. That could be a possibility.
That's very risky.
I know it's risky, but again, short-term pain, long-term gain. Like, you have to.
It's not short-term pain, though. Because it's not. Because it's a full season of Casemiro, right. Sam.
You want to pay over the odds for a midfielder that we don't actually want. You want to do that?
Ugarte?
No, forget Ugarte, because that's off the table at the minute.
I'd rather pay over the odds for him than get Casemiro. Genuinely.
He's not the elite midfielder, though. He's not a Rodri. He's not that guy. He's a good midfielder, and he's decent. And I think
is he better than Casemiro?
Yeah, of course. But loads of players are better than Casemiro. There's a ton out there who's better than Casemiro.
So go get one of them then as well.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Who's on the list?
But you need to be at the correct price. You cannot overpay for players anymore. Like, it has to finish. You have to be done with it. You cannot carry on this cycle because it'll never end. It'll just continue on. It'll never end.
I think they're smart for doing this now if they have other targets. If they go and get Zubimendi, or they go get whoever else it is, and they're a fit for what kind of style we want to play and what system it is, fantastic. If they think, right, nope, we're going to be stubborn on this, we're not going to pay what PSG want, and we're going to go into the season with Casemiro, that is a serious detriment to your season because he cannot be your number 6 start. We've seen it. We've both seen it with our own eyes. He is not a 6 that we need. He's not a top 6 kind of player anymore. He's,
I think they have options. Like, there's options on the table. We just spoke about 2. We've not spoken about Amrabat. We've not spoken about Rabiot. 2 very easy deals to do. They're both
not
ready.
6 is not Amrabat. Yeah, but Rabiot ain't a 6.
But Rabiot's squad depth, which is we need squad
depth.
Yeah. So there's 2 deals who we can quite easily just go and pull the trigger on and get easily. So I think we've got options. I think the people like Andy in the chat is panicking. I was like, guys, need to not panic. Like, let's relax. There's going to be stuff done. We've got football people in football positions doing their jobs, and they've done them well so far in Xerxes and Lenny Otto. Everybody was going, Lenny Otto's never come in. He's going to Madrid. It's not going to fucking happen. And we got it. We did it. So let's give them credit. Let's give them time. Let's give them patience. If we're on 31st of August, if we're sat here and we've got no midfielder, no De Ligt, and no Mazraoui, follow all your pelters you want. Fucking insult, do whatever. But I think we need to sort of relax and just sort of take time and take stock. Like, there's still time, and they'll have people doing negotiations in different positions.
But if they do get to the 31st of August, we've already played 4 or 5 games by then. You midway into the season. Well, not midway, but you well into your season. So you've already lost points by doing that. You need a contingency that you need to move on so quickly. If they do that, and they're like, right, we'll go get this guy now, go pay the release clause, I'll go do this, that's fine. But if they're bartering and saying, no, we're not going to pay this, we're going to wait until the end of the month and then we'll get a player, what's the difference from them and Murta?
Well, the difference between them and Murta is that Murta had, how many seasons was there? 2, 3? Did he have?
No idea.
How long were they there? Anyway, they were there, so they multiple times fucked up. And I've said this about Ineos, is not going to be smooth sailing from day one. Like, there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be bumps in the road, there's going to be times where they get it wrong, there's going to be times where we don't quite get the stuff that we need. But if 90% of it or the majority of it is going in the right direction and we're building something, we've got to sort of go with that, even if there's hiccups along the way. Not everything's going to be perfect. So I think we just need to, everybody back down the hatches, calm, relax. Like, besides Villa, who's buying top players? Do you know what I mean? Like, Arsenal have bought one player, City have just sold one of their better players.
But that's because they've already got good squads and they've got competent sixes as well. They don't need to spend as much as us.
No, but like you saw, like every club normally doing a madness, aren't they? Like, they're going out and buying. Even City, like, they're the top squad and they're still buying players. But this season they're not. FFP, PSR, all that sort of stuff. Arsenal are saying it took them ages over to get California over the line, and they only just did that. So I think we need to just relax and stuff like that. Like, it's not as dire as everybody's going to now panic on Twitter about, I'm sure. So I'm quite relaxed. If you like, I'm sure if you feel like it's the opposite, that's fine. That's your opinion, but I'm quite relaxed about it.
Yeah. Kamario Fox saying, so our option, unless we sell, is scope up 3 players on the market. Not necessarily there. Can see United walking away from the De Ligt deal as well, especially after what Laurie Whitwell said about Euro's injury, making the De Ligt deal more difficult. But I mean, I said this earlier on today, that buying them in the same position, their centre-back's injured.
Yep.
And they're trying to buy a player. They are in literally mirrored position, same position as us.
It's who blinks first in that situation. Yeah, that's what's going on there. Whoever like blinks first, that'll happen. So
yeah,
it's down to the two clubs to find a solution.
Tim99, amongst all the panic, has gifted 1 Real Reds Talk membership, and Andy Williams was a recipient of that. So thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Tim.
Always been a lovely member. Yeah, thank you. Can Maxi or the LA play the 6? He can, but he's no way near ready. He's no way near ready. I mean, we're even talking about Collier not being ready, and he's been pushed way more.
It's so unfair to just chuck him in and go, like, oh yeah, by the way, we've not bought a 6. It's all down to you, lad. You're replacing Casemiro. Like, it's just not fair to him. It's not fair to him at all.
Yeah, way too quick. Zubimendi's a beast. He instantly approves us, says TTM. So he's a fan of that signing. Youseff Fofana is another solid choice. Good box to box. We need to replace the legs in midfield that Fred gave us. That can be Fofana. Great point. Fofana's more of an 8 than a 6. I don't think we would fill the gap. I'd take him and a 6 if we get the sales done. Yeah, I mean, ideally you'd want Zubimendi and Fofana. That'd be perfect. Yeah. But the budget's so stretched. I don't see it happening. Dan saying the worry is as well, we have no money and also have to sell before we buy. So many comments. Andy Williams saying season in 2 weeks and we are weaker than other words. We're fucked. Punch Paint saying Amrabat might be much better than last season because he's not brand new anymore and has a better idea of the Prem now. Well, I'll go back into the comments because there's loads, and Richard's in the chat as well. Evening, Richard. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Richard. Appreciate
if everyone get balloon and gift emojis
Happy
for
birthday
Richard
in the chat. Happy birthdays in the chat for Richard, please.
Please do. Big up, Richard. Right, yeah. So someone's mentioned Amrabat there. We might as well talk about that because that's kind of I was hoping, Sam, it was more of a as well rather than if we don't get him. That's where it gets a bit tricky, doesn't it? If it's just one or the other.
I think I like people. I don't know. Are they split on Amrabat, or is he majority people don't rate him? Like, I'm
not sure. I think personally it'd be split because some people like him, some people like no.
I think it obviously if you look at the season he had with United, he came to us no preseason, like didn't have a preseason at all, so was not up to fitness at all. Was injured for quite a lot of it, like couldn't get fit. Played out of position as well, playing at the left back, played everywhere else. So I think that was constricting on his season, and we didn't see what we've seen for him from Morocco, what we've seen in clips from Fiorentina. He wasn't the player that we saw. And then the last 4 or 5 games, we saw the true Amrabat, I think. Playing in the 6, 100% fit, looked absolutely fantastic for every single game. And then in the cup final was integral to us winning that FA Cup and was called
He
Prime
was good.
Gattuso by Paul
Yeah.
Scholes. And if you're recognised by the legend that is Paul Scholes, you've done something correctly on the big stage in a final against the best team in Europe. And we didn't just beat them by luck. We outclassed them and out-tacticked them. We did it the right way. It was not snatch and grab by any stretch of the imagination. And he was a big part of that. So I think if we can get that Amrabat for most of the season, I'd be quite happy with that. Like, I'd be good with that. That would be really, really good for us. He wants to be here. Fiorentina want to get rid of him. They're hoping to do a deal. There was still talks going on like a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully we could get him for maybe 13, 12 million, something like that. I think that's a deal you could do quite easily. And I wouldn't be upset at that, man, because like you said, if PSG are going to be dicks about Ugarte, there isn't, besides Ugarte, is there anybody out there that stands out and you go, he's obviously because John Evans is gone now, like he's gone to PSG, so he's out of the equation. There's no Rodri out there, is there, that you think he's the guy? So maybe you take Amrabat and you put it on the back burner for a year because I think he's more than competent and good enough to do the job for a year for me.
Yeah, I don't mind Amrabat. I want him in, but I want another player as well. I think he was very good in that final, but one, can he replicate that? Because before that, people were saying sell him, send him back to Fiorentina first class. I was one of them guys.
Yep.
Also, he hasn't had a preseason either. He's not even training with Fiorentina at the minute. I'm pretty sure he's still at United.
Well, De Ligt is not having a preseason either, is he?
Yeah. So sluggish start. I'll keep mentioning it. It's going to be a slow start to the season for us, unfortunately. But that's not all Ineos. Obviously, it's out of their hands. Quite a bit of it. TTM Casemiro is still a usable player. He just needs a player close to him in a double pivot. Even when he played single pivot at Madrid, he always had either Cruz or Modric dropping in to be an option. My reply to that would be, systematically, it doesn't suit us. It's as clear as day. It's as clear as every hand water. You put him in Liverpool's team, very similar energy, under Klopp, for example, high press, quite fucking frantic all over the place. Casemiro ain't got the legs. He just simply has not got the legs. Maybe in a more protected system, in a different league, he might be okay. But he cannot play that role. Can't do it.
His decision-making as well. His decision-making's costing us games. It's costing us goals. Like, jumping in 2-foot tackles, rushing into players instead of like watching how the play's going to develop and anticipating, just rushing in and getting turned. You can't do that, man. Like those mistakes will kill you in the Premier League if you make those mistakes all the time. And he was doing it all last season. He was making those mistakes consistently. And if you're not quick enough to make that tackle, you're not quick enough to make that space up, you're going to get punished every single time. And he isn't quick enough to do that anymore. And now he's rushing in like he is quick enough, and we're getting punished. And that worries me, man. That really, really worries me.
Yeah, I think the big issue for a lot of United fans is we have PTSD from previous windows. So as soon as one deal goes tits up or something along the lines of that, everyone's like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do?" Hopefully, no reactionary buys. And I don't think Ineos are gonna do reactionary buys. I don't think they're gonna have a plan and they're gonna go for other targets. But I think the more you start to pivot in each situation, the more of a detriment it's going to be to the system and how you want to play. Because Zubimendi is a fantastic player, Amrabat's a fantastic player, Fofana's a fantastic player, but they're all different in their own individual ways, really. Ugarte, I think we've both said, and a lot of people have said in the chat as well, is perfect for it, just because he is that ball winner. He will cover a lot of distance. He's tenacious. And like someone mentioned before, losing Fred out of that midfield, the biggest issue for us last season, you saw that midfield, my God, like the spaces that needed covering was just a lot. And when you don't have players like Kante or Fred or these kind of guys, it shows so much. So if we start this season, Sam, with Casemiro, Manu and Bruno again, if you don't change, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah. No, it's worrying, but like you said, like Ornstein didn't say the deal's off. It's just said United, and if the PSG are not willing to negotiate, United are going to explore other options in this on hold. So I think we could well come back to the table towards the end of this window and end up getting him anyway on a loan or on something. So
maybe
it could happen, but I think it's right to explore options now while we've still got time in the window. I know people are worried about the Community Shield on, is it Sunday or is it Saturday?
Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Saturday. But it's a glorified friendly, essentially. I know we don't want to lose to City ever, and we don't want to lose to any of our rivals, but it's a glorified friendly, so let's take that out of the occasion for now. It's the Fulham game. That's when we need players in. We need players ready. It's for the Fulham game. It's like that's the important one. So yeah, I think let's see what happens over this next week or two and see if we can pull some midfielders in and do some deals and sort something out. Because like you said, if we get to like the end of August, like last couple of days, and we haven't got anybody in, then I think people are well within the rights to go, this is going to be a long season and this is going to suck. So
I think if we start the game against Fulham next Friday,
we might have to. We might have to.
If we do, I'm like, you're going to lose out on a couple of points. With the midfield Casemiro again in there, you're putting a result up for serious risks. But yeah,
I'm convinced in my head as well. If we sell McTominay to Fulham, he's going to score against us on the first day.
Oh yeah,
I can see it right now.
Could you imagine?
I can see it now. I'm seeing it.
McTominay crashes the box at 88th minute. Oh, he's
at
scored.
Old Trafford as well. At Old Trafford against us. I can see it.
Can't have that. You can't have that.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned before, actually, would you sell Scott cheaper just to get Ugarte? No, not if it's at the same price. No, I think you should just push for 30 mil for Scott anyway, and then utilize that money on a 6. Again, I mentioned that earlier on. Andy Williams saying Casemiro for another season. My God. Punch Paint saying, could we throw Evans in and bump Leacher to the 6? There's so many. I'm sure Sam would probably share my thoughts on this. Johnny Evans, as a centre-back, should not be starting. He's a good replacement if you need a cup game or whatever. But again, that would hinder us in the way we play out from the back, how high we want to press, and then Leacher going out from there into the midfield, takes everything he plays, the line-breaking passes from the back, the composure he has. It just changes a lot, doesn't it?
How many times did we play players out of position last season, man?
Yeah.
Like, can we please stop it?
Wan-Bissaka at left back. I never ever want to see that shit again. Same with Lindelof at left back. Never again.
Amrabat at left back.
Amrabat,
like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Casemiro at centre back.
Fucking Bruno at centre back. Anthony playing full back. Like,
fucking
Cassidy. Like, it's just let's stop playing players out of position. I don't want to deal with it.
I don't know if anyone's watched The American Office, but that meme of Steve Carell when he's like, "No, God, no." That is how I feel about that. So please not. Last few comments before we head off then. Obviously, we had to go live because big news surrounding Ugarte, and I'm sure we'll have further updates, which I'm excited to get into tomorrow on the 12 o'clock show. So make sure you just come and join me. FIFA apparently made it a law that players have to have 3-week holidays, and that's why players like Xerxes, who hardly played at the Euros, still had the holiday. Let's hope it happens soon. We get players in. Really hope so. Rich is saying, I have to say I'm concerned. McMillan saying McTominay hat-trick of own goals, bookmark it. Johnny Evans is quality for like 20 minutes. He's an old man.
Hey, whoa. TTF. Like, let's chill out. Like, he's the same age as me. Like, he's not an old man. Like, let's relax. Fucking old man. Old man at 36. I'm like,
catching it straight there.
Just get my fucking bus pass, shall I? Like, let's just fucking give up at 36.
Yeah. Always Pierre cuts for £3. Happy days.
Jesus Christ. Early bird dinners at like 5 o'clock and going to bed at 10. Going to bed at 7. Soup. Yeah, like, fucking hell.
Ten Hag was moving spooky with a lot of his decisions last season. Awful choices. Why is Goldbridge talking about De Jong? Please, he should stay at his club. I'll let you react to that.
Is he talking about De Jong?
Maybe. He's become an option again, apparently.
No, he hasn't. Wait, who? Who?
No, these are journalists reporting it. I'm not.
Which journalist? Which journalist? The Sun?
Spanish journalist. There was a couple of.
Is it that guy you were saying it was night? What was the guy's name?
I don't know because I blocked him, so I don't know if he's actually put it or not. I've actually legit blocked him because he pissed me off so much with that De Jong saga. But De Jong is the highest paid player in La Liga. Leave it at that.
And
else to say.
They still owe him £15 million.
Yeah, and it's his dream, and I'm not going down this pathway. No. I still have to buy Sam a bottle of whiskey because of it. I owe him a bottle. I've got a bottle of Buffalo here that I can give him. So yeah, I still owe Sam a bottle of whiskey because we had a bet during is it last year or the season before?
2 years ago, I think.
2 years ago, yeah. And it was a 12-week saga that I'm sure we all remember. It was back and forth. We agreed a fee with Barcelona. Apparently, Ten Hag behind the scenes was spoken to De Jong and everything was happy and blah, blah, blah. And then we know the rest, what happened. So, no, I'm never opening that door again. Unless he's holding up the fucking shirt.
Richard said it was Luckhurst. Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, he's full of shit.
Luckhurst, there you go. Right,
Absolutely.
let's end it on that then, and not stop elaborating on fucking stupid journalists. No offense to anyone in the chat. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this show, and smash a like on the video as well. We're back again tomorrow at 12 o'clock with further deals on the Ugarte and other things, I'd imagine. And yeah, we've got a couple of things coming up this week. Man City game, of course, on Saturday. We've got a preview for that as well. Yep. Guests that we're lining up. Is that next week?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, and then the season kicks off as well. So busy. Thank you for joining us this late on your, what was it, Tuesday night?
Monday.
Monday night, yeah. Sam, go on. You was going to say something.
Big season preview. I think next week. We're probably going to do
probably
it.
Better to do next week.
Try and get as many of the lads on as possible. So that'll be a fun
big
one.
Chunk of us.
Follow all the socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Me and Nick are going to do a members video this week for you. So if you are a member, I think Tim gave one, didn't he, to Andy? So Andy, there'll be a video dropping this week. So please do look out for that. And then, the guest next week, you're going to fucking love it. All ears. You will fucking love this guest. I'm well excited. I'm well up for it. So please do keep your notifications on for when that drops.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take it easy, everyone. We'll see you at 12 o'clock tomorrow in a bit.